I saw a video recently where it was various situations where I guess people have met or reacquainted after some period of time. It could be a college friend meeting someone in the airport or something, and that can it kind of makes you feel emotional for a good reason, I suppose, because you go through and you go through life, and there's people that are important to you, and if you don't see them but every so often, they show up kind of out of nowhere. It's a huge emotional rush. And one of them was interesting, where she repeated the same thing over and over, like, "What are you doing here?" And then she's like, "What are you doing here?" And I think she said it 3 times, but it could be 4. And each time she said it, she became more emotional. But her friend had sat down, and the young lady looked over, and it took her a minute in shock, and then she kept repeating, "What are you doing here?" Because it was so touching, I suppose. I thought about that, how that could change, and it brought back a memory, kind of a tough one. I'll be frank with you. My ex, the boy's mom, and I met when I was rather young, and she was young. At 17, I was maybe 16. It was close to my birthday and senior year, and over the course of a year, maybe a year and a half, I'd have to look at my journals if I have them. Sometime I didn't write journals, sometimes I did. But I remember just driving in from Atlanta, I think from Georgia Tech, and she was working at Carlton Cards, which is a little card store in Savannah Mall. I just showed up, I guess. I don't know why I did, and with a small gift of some sort, because I've never been good at giving gifts. I've found it hard. I don't know what to get. I kind of freeze up a little bit, and so I default to something simple or stupid, and it's probably a candy bar, a box of chocolates or something. And I remember, her looking through, like, "What do you do?" Sort of that, and she was happy to see me, and I wish I, in some ways, had that, but you get those chances, and you don't let them escape. Don't let your mind get polluted to think that those memories can't be happy. But it's a bit tough, because 30 years later, and I'm sure, if I show up, I won't say the opposite type of feeling, but I would say it's probably close, and you live with other people's mistakes, and you do your best to get through it, and you live with your own mistakes, you try to get through those. But man, I'd give a lot of candy bars to be able to rewind and have that feeling again, where you show up to somebody and something as simple as a candy bar, but you made the effort to drive hours and hours and surprise them. And my old Geoprism, it was a 1996 Geoprism, I think. They only made those for a certain while. There was a Chevy body or American car manufacturer body. I think it was Chevy. But the engine was a Toyota. So, needless to say, it ran forever. But scooted myself from Atlanta, from Georgia Tech when I was an undergraduate, to there, and just showed up outside of her store. She was closing, and she was happy to see me, and I was happy to see her. The simple things are what you'll miss, man. So, and I don't wish breakups and divorces and all that on people. I also don't wish people to live in an excruciating place just to try to hang on to something in hopes it'll be the same. With any luck, maybe we all get multiple chances at that. maybe we're all lucky to only get one. Maybe that's all that we can get. I hope everybody does have at least one chance of that feeling that you mean a lot to somebody and they mean a lot to you. And it's that innocence of being able to still remember holding yourself to a high standard, that before life kind of gets at you and plucks at you and picks you apart and tears you apart sometimes, builds you up again, and before you know it, you can't get back that innocent feeling, that feeling of bliss, I suppose. The youth of, youth is wasted on the young or something like that. I don't know. Y'all be careful out there.